Was Attorney General Eric Holder bullied, or is he just playing the victim?
The last 5 years have been defined by significant strides and by lasting reforms, even in the face of unprecedented, unwarranted, ugly, and divisive adversity. You look at the way the Attorney General of the United States was treated yesterday by a House committee. Had nothing to do with me. Forget that. What Attorney General has ever had to deal with that kind of treatment? What president has ever had to deal with that kind of treatment?
So was Attorney General Eric Holder treated poorly? Let's take a look.
I realize that contempt is not a big deal to our Attorney General, but it is important that we have proper oversight.
You don't want to go there, buddy.
So
you don't want to go there, okay?
I don't want to go there?
No.
I don't need lectures from you about contempt.
And I don't need lectures from you either.
Joining us, our political panel, ABC News political director Rick Klein, Washington Examiner chief political correspondent Byron York, and the Wall Street Journal's Mary Kissel. Byron, was the Attorney General poorly treated yesterday?
Well, I thought that Representative Gohmert was kind of snarky with him. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, the Attorney General gave it right back. I mean, he sounded kind of threatening when he said, "You don't want to go there, buddy." So it was a pretty extraordinary exchange between them. But we have to remember, I mean, the House and the Attorney General have butted heads before. Back in the Clinton administration, House committee voted Janet Reno, who was the Attorney General at the time, in contempt over a campaign finance scandal at that time. This kind of thing happens, and it was kind of heated yesterday, but I don't think anything really out of the ordinary has happened with this Attorney General.
Rick, your thoughts? Is the Attorney General being mistreated, bullied, or is he, rightfully socking him right back?
It comes with the game. You have to know that if you're Attorney General, actually if you're any cabinet official, there's going to be times where you go before the ritual of going in front of Congress and getting beat up a little bit. I think what's interesting here is the strength of the Attorney General's response to all this, and I don't know how it does him any favors, honestly. It's one thing to say that in the room today, but even the jousting, the sparring with members of Congress, a lot of members of Congress, that's kind of what they're after. They want to get a rise out of him. They want to get on the news. They want to get some attention for the grilling they're given. And as long as Attorney General Holder is going to be in that office, he is going to face this. It is clear that he doesn't like the tone of questioning from members of Congress, but that is what he is going to get, and it only gets worse the more you push back.
Mary.
I mean, imagine if a Republican Attorney General treated a Democrat-led Congress with such disdain. I think you got to step back here, Greta. This is the most political Attorney General in history. This is a guy who is basically carrying out political initiatives of the White House, not equally enforcing the law. He deserves this treatment from Congress. He doesn't enforce federal law. He's challenged voter ID. He's launched a war on charter schools in Louisiana. I mean, I can go right down the list. I think he deserves this treatment.
I mean, I'm all for, a tough grilling of an Attorney General, but did it go beyond that so that it was insulting and so that, mostly looks like a schoolyard brawl? I don't know who threw the first punch, but did it get to that, Mary?
Look, these are separate branches of government. When the Attorney General comes up to testify, he's not testifying to an inferior. He should be treating Congress with respect, and I think we've seen time and again Eric Holder doesn't do that. He's a very political guy, and you saw that in his comments earlier today.
All right, tell me, Byron, who threw the first punch in all these exchanges? We just showed a little clip today, but who threw the first punch yesterday?
Well, look, it goes way back. They've had the Attorney General Gohmert have had a lot of tough exchanges, so I would say that Gohmert essentially continued the fight. Can I say one thing about Holder's reaction, though? You saw the soundbite that was just played. In back of it, you saw the logo for the National Action Network with the motto, "No justice, no peace." That's Al Sharpton's group. And for the president, for the Attorney General to go before Sharpton's group, kind of sort of whine about his treatment at Congress, I don't think it's a particularly good forum for him to do that.
Rick, that's another interesting aspect, though. Yesterday was Congress. Today it was before Al Sharpton's group. Does that, I mean, he obviously was playing to the group today, to the crowd.
No question, and it got a lot of coverage yesterday, and you'd expect him to address it in some way. I think talking about it being even bigger than him, this was personal about him. There's no question this was about him on the hot seat. He was upset personally. He had some ready lines to go back at Gohmert and the other members of Congress who were pressing him. He knew exactly what he was doing by engaging in this. And I'll tell you, members of Congress, I think generally, they're not going to be pushed around by this kind of response from a cabinet official. I think Holder is just going to get more of this as time goes by, and he can go back and push back in different forums, but it's not going to change that reality.
All right, panel.